How you doing, Paul? I had to make this video very hastily. You're into the sanctuary. This is the studio. This is the place I come to get a little alone time, etc. So, fireside chat, if you will. Listen, I had to jump on this opportunity, Paul, and I got that funk, and I agree. And it's a rare thing. It's not impossible, but it's a rare thing. It's like a lunar eclipse or something like that. It's very unusual. So I had to jump on it. I loved your video, Paul. On a serious note, it's been something that's really been bothering me, that all our comedians, specifically in the West, but our Western comedians are running for the hills, running for safety away from what is just a boiling frog is terrifying to me. And I've wondered for a long time why we couldn't all get together on this. Look, this is a canary in the coal mine. This is a bad thing. When your gestures, and I mean that in an affectionate way, when the people that bring levity to your society are running for safety, and sanitized words are the only thing left. This is terrible. This is a bad thing for society, for all of society. I liked what you said. Oftentimes, comedy is a way of, is an avenue for introspection. It's an avenue. It's a way for us to rethink things. It's a way for us to have some self-analysis and interest. It's just a healthy mental thing in society. It's a teapot's steam valve, if you will, and that's threatened. It's so severely threatened by what is an intellectual, comedic tyranny that looms over all of us, is just terrible and takes the life and the fun out of things, and it turns things bleak quickly, and I think it enhances the likelihood of violence. I think there's a lot to be said about that. Here's the sting in the tail of this video, and I have to say it because I'm terribly curious. Do you recognize that this, at least in 2018, is largely coming stage left? Like, are you willing to admit that for whatever reason it appears to be the leftists' newfound ideology that feelings trump, well, comedy in this case, but I would argue trump the presumption of innocence, free speech. I think this notion that words are violence, this whole intellectual outcropping that I see coming from the left, that your words are actually, more than words, that they can, I don't know, however you want to phrase that. I've heard it said a million different ways. That's my particular take on it. And I'll pad this video by saying that I was and am and came from the evangelical Christianity kind of root in society. That's my background. And I distinctly remember, especially say 70s, 80s, 90s, so much of evangelical Christianity wanted to just browbeat people over the head about behavior, what they were saying. It was very fuddy-duddy, and I think it was a strategic mistake by the church to do that because, first of all, righteousness, obedience, goodness comes from the heart, doesn't come from behaviors. Those are symptoms anyway. But that was a big identifying factor in the evangelical Christianity. I've been thrilled to see that dissipate and change in the last 10 to 15 years. But of all the ironies, it appears that the secular now, or the leftist secular, have identified this new form of religion, and they've sort of inherited, they've taken that mantle, they've taken that baton of, old church lady, perusing society and looking for who to tongue lash about what they're saying wrong, what kind of jokes are they taking the wrong way, what kind of things are they laughing at, are they laughing for good reasons, pure reasons, do they pass our dogmatist test? It's terrifying. I just wonder if you see that, because to me, that's the engine behind a lot of this stuff. But I often wonder, and in talking to a lot of my left-leaning friends, they recognize the problem a lot of times, but they don't recognize, they seem to have a blind spot about where the problem's coming from. So I just sort of wonder if that's true of you. And if you disagree with me and you don't think that it's the left that is sort of the dark cloud of comedyless, Ebenezer Scroogey. There just seems to be a bunch of like social engineering, thought policing, word policing, PC policing tattletales. And they're predominantly from the left. I'm not saying that there's absolutely no examples from the right, because that would be intellectually dishonest. But pound for pound, if you're going to identify like an ideological engine behind this stuff, I think it's coming from the left. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Actually, that'd be a great question for the audience. Do you agree? Do you not agree with that? First of all, do you agree that comedy and laughing at whatever you want to laugh at and just having real fenceless fields to comedic relief, do you think that's a problem? Do you think that's an emerging problem? Number two, who do you think is responsible for bringing that new wave of that cold chill of policing? And we know that's true. We've seen comedians losing sitcoms. We've seen people fired. What do you think about all that? It's an interesting question we can kick around. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.